Sarawak to capitalize on Nusantara, a center for special needs community. 5 killed in truck crash in Indonesia. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Hendy Gui and this is TVS Nightline. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg received 2 courtesy calls at his office, Wisma Bapa Malaysia in Petrajaya this morning. The first courtesy call was from Mitsubishi Chief Executive Masashi Shirashi and his entourage, while the second visit was from the members of the Sarawak Islamic Council or MIS, led by its president Datu Haji Misnu bin Haji Taha. It was also MIS's new council members' first visit to the Chief Minister to discuss about the current development and the plans for New Year.
Dan kami ahli-ahli yang baru itu pelantikan untuk daripada 31 Ogos 2021 hingga 1 Julai 2024 telah menghadap Yang Maha Perdana Menteri maklumkan pelantikan kami yang telah diperkenankan oleh Diri Yang Maha Mulia Yang Tuan Agong dan juga mohon nasihat dan pandangan beliau apakah hala tuju untuk Islam yang akan datang. Kami telah menerima nasihat beliau dan dukungan dan sokongan daripada Amat Perdana Menteri amat kira lagi. InsyaAllah itu saja. Perdana Menteri maklumkan bahawa agar Islam bergerak untuk masa depan, kukuhkan persatuan Islam, kukuhkan persatuan orang Islam. Pada masa sama, Islam harus berusaha meningkatkan kemampuan umat Islam di Sarawak.
Now, the Rajang Port Authority, RPA, has been told to look at ways of upgrading itself in acquiring new technologies. Minister of Infrastructure and Port Development, MIPD, Dr. Amar Douglas Uga Umbas said this was to prepare itself for the challenges ahead once the economy recovers. Uga also said that ports in the state too were expected to play more prominent roles with the state vision to be a high-income society by 2030. He, who is also the Deputy Chief Minister, said the state would expect increasing export volumes of our agricultural products. Meanwhile, Uga suggested that the RPA and the Tanjung Manis ports find ways to support each other instead of competing where the two ports are located on the same river. Dato' Amar Douglas Uga Umbas wants all contractors and the Public Work Department undertaking or supervising the construction of major bridge and road projects in the state. This, he said, is to nip any problem in the bud. He said this after visiting the construction sites of Batang Lupar Bridge at Triso, the Batang Saribas Bridge 1 at Kuala Saribas, the Batang Saribas 2 Bridge near Pusa, and the Batang Rajang Bridge near Sarike. Uga reminds the contractors of all necessary measures must be taken to ensure the construction schedules are to be followed, adding that there are some issues which need to be addressed. Now, Sarawak will see positive long-term economic gains following Indonesia's capital relocation to Kalimantan. It is therefore appropriate for the state to pursue its plan to establish a trade and tourism office in Kalimantan following delays caused by the pandemic.
Kalau tidak kerana COVID-19, saya percaya our trade and tourism office in Pontianak would have take off. Rancangan kerajaan negeri adalah untuk memulakan 3 tempat. Satu di Singapura yang kita sudah bina, which we call SATOS, Trade and Tourism Office. Satu lagi di negara Brunei Darussalam. We have identified the place. The other one would be in Kalimantan, that is in Pontianak. Kita ada sedikit tergendala ikuran daripada masalah COVID yang telah melanda kita 2 tahun ini, dan insyaAllah saya percaya selepas ini apabila ia sudah reda, we will start. Because as the capital city is going to come up, we must have our trade office down there.
Karim believes that the relocation of the capital to Kalimantan, it will definitely boost the economy of the island of Borneo. He said that the state government shall develop road and airlines infrastructure in connecting the cities. Abdul Karim expressed his confidence that giant companies in the state would also be interested in expanding their business in Kalimantan in the near future. Art plays an exceptional role in Sarawak's society and has significance for people from all walks of life to express and communicate. As such, Theme Sarawak More to Discover, the launch of Malaysia's largest Sarawak Team Mural Maze initiative, is a showcase for a 121-meter structure to be painted by our local talents, which is expected to be completed by May 2022.
At the same time, the elements also include culture, adventure, nature, food and festivals, or also known as CANFF. Through the event, local industry players are seen in collaboration with youths and students to attempt a record in the Malaysian Book of Records for the largest Sarawak-themed mural painting, as it is a celebration of beauty in diversity in developing cultural and heritage legacies for Sarawak. In addition, Tourism Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister Dato Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said that the Sarawak government has agreed to relocate the State Museum Department, while the former KMC building in front of the Central Police Station will be turned into an art gallery to showcase masterpieces and to sell local paintings. Given the strategic location of the building, he said visitors who go to old and new museums in the city centre could drop by the upcoming art gallery as well. Meanwhile, the building is expecting its handover by this year.
Now, good news as Sarawak will establish a Special Needs Community Centre SNCC to strengthen the welfare of the people with disabilities or PWD, as its ongoing commitment to develop the welfare of the special needs community under the State Development Agenda. Such initiative is vital in providing special platform on improving their quality of life. Minister of Women, Children and Community Wellbeing Development Dato Sri Fatimah Abdullah said the centre, costing 50 million ringgit, will be the first of its kind in Malaysia under 12 Malaysia Plan.
Dan insyaAllah Sarawak akan mempunyai a special complex ini that will address the whole chain, the first one in Malaysia, insyaAllah. All I can say is the government has agreed to it and also has agreed to the budget that we requested. So next is the implementation part, the design, the scope of work. Is we have envisaged the scope of work is the whole chain tadi. Facilities for screening, diagnosis, for education, vocational training, employment, and then residential homes, all that. Yeah.
In the meantime, Fatimah pointed out that the project is still in its design phase.
Kita
The courts in Sabah and Sarawak will continue to enhance their digitalization effort with several initiatives to give better services to the people, said Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak Tan Sri Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim. He said one of the initiatives is upgrading the Integrated Court System or ICS to E-Kehakiman Sabah Sarawak EKSS, with a project approved by the federal government for implementation in 3 years, beginning August 2020. Abang Iskandar said the EKSS project includes several key features, namely redevelopment of ICS, putting in place new hardware and software, integration with e-court in West Malaysia and other systems, installation of video link at the prisons department, and migration of data. He was speaking at the opening of the legal year Sabah and Sarawak at the Kota Kinabalu Courts Complex. Also present were Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, Chief Judge of Malaya Tan Sri Azahar Mohammed, and Attorney General Tan Sri Idris Harun. Another digital enhancement is the artificial intelligence system, which was implemented through a pilot project last year and is now renamed as Artificial Intelligence in Court Sentencing or ICOS. Meanwhile, he said some of the courts which require major and minor upgrades will soon be refurbished and repaired, including the courts in Beaufort, Caningau, Kudat, Sandakan, Lahad Datu, Semporna, and Tawau in Sabah, Kuching, Bintulu, Miri, Cebu, Sarikei, and Kota Semarahan in Sarawak. Now, following the rising prices of raw materials, food traders are allowed to increase their selling prices as long as there is no element of profiteering.
Deputy Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPDN-SEP, Datuk Rosol Wahid said there were complaints and grievances from traders who said the prices of food items had to be increased as the cost of raw materials today have skyrocketed. In addition, Rosol said the ministry has held engagement sessions in the effort to take care of the trading aspects as well as the consumers. Adding to that, he said he do not want consumers to be deceived and that traders should do their business ethically.
Sebab kita mengadakan libat urus dengan pemain industri ini untuk sebab kita di kementerian kita jaga perdagangan dan kita jaga pengguna. Jadi kita seimbang antara perdagangan dalam negeri dan juga pengguna. Peniaga tidak mengambil ataupun berniaga dengan beretika dan pengguna tidak teraniaya.
Meanwhile, commenting on the problem of rising prices of chicken that is expected to be solved once the Malaysian Family Maximum Price Scheme ends, Rosol said KPDN-SEP and the Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry, MAFI, have issued over 20 approved permits to balance prices in the market. With regard to SHMKM, Rosol said the government will re-evaluate the prices of goods as well as inflation based on input from the Department of Statistics, Finance Ministry and MAFI before deciding on whether or not to extend this scheme.
Welcome back. An unemployed man was sentenced to death by the High Court today after he was found guilty of murdering a 6-year-old boy who was also the son of his lover. High Court Judge Dato Azmi Abdullah meted out the sentence on Norai Zuwan Hamali 30 after ruling that he had failed to raise a reasonable doubt on the prosecution's case apart from having doubts on his defense. Nur Zuan was charged with killing Muhammad Ryan Hidayat Hairil Khan at a house in Jalan Arau, Lorong Cempaka in Kampong Jejawi between 3:45 p.m. on April 18, 2018 and 12:10 a.m. the following day. He was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which provides for the mandatory death sentence on conviction. The case was prosecuted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Izam Ali, while Nur Zuan was represented by lawyer Rafidi Muhammad. More than 60 million ringgit has been allocated for the repair of roads and implementation of social amenities programs or PAMs in states affected by the recent floods. Rural Development Minister Dato Sri Mazhar Khalid said the amount included 37.2 million ringgit for repair of village roads, while 35 million ringgit was for PAMs nationwide.
Keseluruhan bilangan projek di seluruh negara ialah 356 projek. Dengan setakat ini perbelanjaannya adalah 37.1 juta. Program amenity sosial PAMS dia panggil PAMS macam Dewan Orang Ramai, surau, permainan kanak-kanak lah, longkang, kampung dan sebagainya lah. Yang itu ada 394 projek yang sudah dikenal pasti, termasuk sekali dengan JAKWA lah, Jabatan Haiwan Orang Asli. Jadi 35 juta keseluruhan.
He said this after presenting the Bantuan Pembelian Barangan Keperluan Asas Assistance of 2,500 ringgit each to 300 flood victims in the Sri Tanjung State constituency at the Majestic Hall, Port Dickson. Meanwhile, Mazhar said contractors that were appointed to do house repair work and the construction of new houses under the ministry would be required to complete the job in 4 to 6 months. It was earlier reported that the Rural Development Ministry had allocated 150 million ringgit to repair houses and facilities affected by the floods in rural areas in 8 states.
Night market or night bazaar, a street market which dedicated to more leisurely strolling, shopping and eating than more business-like day market. The Cebu gateway of the Chinese New Year Bazaar is now welcoming visitors after having been closed for almost 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A total of 2,000 lanterns illuminate the bazaar in conjunction with the symbolic opening on Thursday night.
The Chinese New Year Bazaar, CNY, has received warm responses from the public. Assistant Minister of Public Health, Housing and Local Government Michael Tiang said this proved that the interest for such activities and the festive season are still a practice despite the pandemic letdown.
After this pandemic, lockdown, we stay at home all day for almost, 1 year time. We no longer have passion for this sort of activity. But tonight, the crowd, the atmosphere really put that on how was working. Right? So that means Cebu people, we have reason, and we want to create even more bazaar like this. Not only for Chinese New Year, we will do it for Hari Raya, we'll do it for Gawai, we'll do it for some of the major festivals, because we believe that tomorrow is going to be better, definitely better than yesterday, and I can see this spirit.
The ceremony, witnessed by Tiang, praised the organizers for their spirit and creativity for making the program run according to plan.
Yes, I praise the organizing unit that they have done it right. With passion, with the love for Cebu, with our creativity, definitely we're going to see breakthrough after COVID-19. Yeah, but most importantly, I still want to urge everyone here to watch out, to always put out your mask, to keep social distancing if possible, and also to follow the standard operating procedures.
The CNY Bazaar 2022 will open from 5 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. every day. The public are urged to always adhere to standard operating procedures, such as wearing face masks and maintaining physical distancing.
The average prices of chicken in the country rose 13.6% from 8 ringgit and 40 cent a kilogram to 9 ringgit and 54 cent a year earlier. The Department of Statistics Malaysia DOSM said this is due to the nation contended with a heavy ride-driven food supply shortage, which also led to an increase in prices of vegetables and seafood. Eggs recorded a double-digit increase of 13.5% in December 2021, while milk also went up by 3%. Malaysia's inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index (CPI), increased 3.2% in December 2021 from a year earlier. DOSM said this is mainly due to a rise in food and fuel prices and the base effect. The index 3.2% year-over-year increase in December 2021 partly contributed to the nation's leap into an annual inflation of 2.5% compared to a 1.2% deflation in 2020. In its quest to boost exports, the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, or MATRADE, has outlined 286 exporters development and export promotion programs for 2022. The programs were devised based on the strategic directions of the National Trade Blueprint, or NTBP, with greater emphasis on digitalization and sustainability. MATRADE Chief Executive Officer Muhammad Mustafa Abdul Aziz said Malaysian companies seeking to expand their business abroad ought to be prepared. The export promotion programs comprising iconic trade fairs, export acceleration missions or EAM, and international sourcing programs INSP. The 18th edition of the Malaysia International Halal Showcase, or MIHAS, will take place in a hybrid format in September 2022. MATRADE supports Malaysian companies by providing facilitation and assistance to be global champions through wide-ranging exporters development programs. Now on to some global affairs. At least 5 people have been killed and scores more injured after a container truck rammed into a line of stationary vehicles and motorcycles at an intersection in East Kalimantan. The pileup occurred at Muara Rapak, Balikpapan, around 6 a.m. Central Indonesian time earlier today. Footage captured from a traffic camera in Balikpapan city showed the transport vehicle failing to slow down, suspected due to brake failure, slamming straight into the stationary vehicles.
Stasiun Relay B07 melaporkan sudah di kawasan Rapak. Meluncur Pak, banyak korban Pak. Kilo SAR, Basarnas, BPBD.
Several vehicles flipped as the truck plowed through them. Preliminary investigations suggest the truck's brakes may have failed as the 48-year-old driver approached the light. Initial reports say at least 5 people were killed and another 4 were seriously injured. A passerby named Rafiq captured distressing images in the immediate aftermath of the accident, showing emergency services tending to the injured and the mangled wreckage of vehicles strewn across the road. Injured victims were taken to several local hospitals for treatment. Now, a bomb blast ripped through a busy market in Pakistan's eastern city of Lahore on the afternoon of January 20th, leaving at least 3 people dead and 26 others injured. The blast took place in the new Anarkali market of Lahore, the provincial capital of eastern Punjab province. The bomb was planted in a motorcycle parked near a money exchange shop. Several motorcycles and nearby buildings were also damaged in the blast. Police, security forces, and rescue teams rushed to the site and shifted the bodies and the injured to the Mayo Hospital of Lahore. One of the 3 people who died in the blast was a child, and 2 of the current 14 hospitalized victims were in critical condition.
And they were near to the blast site. That's why they got major trauma to their body, for which they were operated in the emergency overnight and in the morning as well. Now they are stable and shifted to ward for further management.
Meanwhile, Muhammad Nadim, an owner of a store in the market, was injured on the head in a blast, which also killed his employee.
पीछे हमारी शॉप है, भाई हमारा एक लड़का काम कर रहा था, उसके पास जाया खड़ा हूँ मैं, तो उसके बाद ज़ोरदार धमाका हुआ, हमें कुछ पता नहीं चला, तो वो बेचारा नीचे गिरा, वो उसके यहाँ लगी है गर्दन पे, उसी टाइम उसकी डेथ हो गई है। उसे मैंने उठाया है, मेरे से उठाया नहीं गया। जी, मेरे भी सारी लगी हुई है, सर पे भी लगी मेरे।
Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, President Arif Alvi, and Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid condemned the bombings, expressed regrets over the loss of lives, and said those responsible for the blast will be held accountable. Security forces and police have cordoned off the area and launched an investigation and search operation. A massive crater in the ground following an explosion in Ghana's rural western region on January 20th killed an unknown number of nearby residents. The footage showed widespread damage to houses nearby. The explosion happened when a truck carrying explosive to a gold mine collided with a motorcycle. The truck was carrying explosive belonging to a company called Maxim, which was on its way to the Chirano gold mine. Now wrapping up the Nightline, Russia has flown 2 nuclear-capable Tu-160 strategic bombers over the Arctic as part of the training. The Russian Ministry of Defense said the flight was conducted over the neutral waters of the Arctic Ocean, which is the Barents Sea and the White Sea. Russia carries out similar training flights over the Arctic, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans, as well as over the Black and Baltic Seas on a regular basis, a policy some NATO members regard as unhelpful saber-rattling. The 2 aircraft, which can carry up to 12 short-range nuclear missiles, were in the air for 13 hours. And that concludes the Nightline for tonight. With that, I'm Handy Gui. Stay safe and have a pleasant night.